Conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the March meeting of the Governance and Finance Committees and of the full board. For members of the public attending remotely, we ask that you please close other programs on your computer or phone, silence your cell phone, and mute your audio when not speaking. Agendas for today's meeting are available at hrvrrd.ny.gov under board meetings. The conference organizer will monitor the program's chat function for anyone wishing to address the board during the public comment period during the meeting of the full board. For anyone wishing to address the board, excuse me, kindly use the chat function or email brao@hrvrrd.ny.gov or simply speak up during the public comment period during the full board meeting. I will now turn the gavel over to Mr. Candido for the Governance Committee meeting, where he will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Governance Committee to order and have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Leslie.
Committee members, Committee Chair Alfred Candido.
Here.
Committee members Albert Hayes.
Here.
And Nicole Allen.
Here.
Committee member Kenneth DeWitt.
Here.
Board Chair Mark Finkel.
Here.
Board member Timothy Reagan.
Here.
Executive Director John Callahan.
Here.
General Counsel Robert Leslie here. Chief Engineer Robert Fulton.
Here.
Chief Fiscal Officer Timothy Minicha.
Here.
And the Director of Administrative Services Stephanie Rizicki.
Here.
Mr. Bird is not present. Everybody's accounted for.
Thank you. First order of business, I need a motion to adopt or revise the meeting agenda. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Hayes,
I'll second.
Ms. Allen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Thank you. Committee business in front of us today. We have a discussion of the annual review and approval of the investment policy. Mr. Minicha, would you please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You can find the investment policy resolution on page 3 of your packet. There are no meaningful changes proposed for the investment policy. The investment audit report conducted as part of the regulating district's annual financial statements audit last summer identified no issues that needed to be addressed. Our investment practices are fairly simple and consistent with the investment policy. We actively monitor our cash flow, try to keep funds in bank accounts below the $250,000 FDIC insurance limit per bank, and move the remaining balances to the controller's short-term investment pool where the funds are collateralized and actively managed. With the state fiscal year through January 31st, 2026, the short-term investment pool has generated an average monthly yield of 4.18%. This is down from the 5.11% for the equivalent period in the prior state fiscal year. That said, we would have to work a lot harder to attempt to generate the equivalent yield without sacrificing liquidity. So STIP is, and I expect will remain, the regulating district's principal short-term investment vehicle. And on that note, I'm happy to pause and answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions of Mr. Minicha?
I have none.
None. Having none, we'll entertain a motion to advance this to the full board with our approval. Motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Allen.
I will second that.
Mr. Hayes.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Thank you. Motion passed. Now moving to the discussion of our annual review and approval of the procurement policy. Mr. Minicha, again, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You can find the procurement policy resolution on page 8 of your packet. The majority of the procurement policy remains unchanged from the version the board adopted 1 year ago. You may remember that we have been engaged in a multi-year effort to better align the regulating district's procurement policy and the relevant sections of public authorities law and associated state regulations. That journey continues this year as we are incorporating what we have learned from our most recent interactions with the Office of the State Controller with respect to contract review and approval. We are also proposing to raise the threshold for a purchase where an informal review of options, subject to approval by the appropriate senior staff manager, will be accepted. We recommend raising this threshold from $250 to $500 to account for inflation over the last 2 decades. And before offering to answer any questions that you have, I would like to thank all of my senior staff colleagues for reviewing the current version of the policy and making their many suggestions for the ways that we are seeking to improve it. Questions?
Can I ask a question on that now? Is that enough money?
From 250 to 500?
Yeah.
I believe it is.
Okay.
It will significantly reduce the amount of expenditure requests that are sought without sacrificing the necessary oversight and approvals.
I just wondered if that was enough
Yeah.
to cover the things that.
Seems a lot little.
It
That's
is,
all
it doesn't mean that we're not ever going to buy anything for more than $500. It just
No, I
changes
understand. I
the
understand.
approval
Yep.
process, that's all.
I just was asking from an approval process if you need to go to 1,000 or something. That's all. But, no, okay. I'm good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll accept the motion to advance to the full board with our approval, the procurement policy.
I will make that motion. Mr. Hayes,
I will second.
Ms. Allen.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Thank you. And finally, Mr. Manisha, if you would please lead us in the discussion and annual review of the property guidelines policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You can find the disposition policy resolution on page 32 of your packet. There are no changes proposed for the disposition of property guidelines. In recent years, we have worked closely with the Office of General Services to dispose of any surplus property and anticipate continuing this practice. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Being no questions, again, accept a motion to approve and advance to the full board.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Allen,
I'll second.
Mr. DeWitt.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Thank you. Now it's the annual review of the authority's mission statement and performance measures. Mr. Leslie, please.
One of the tenets of that review is an annual recitation of the mission statement. With your permission, I will read the mission statement to the committee.
Absolutely.
The mission of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District is to construct, maintain, and operate reservoirs in the Upper Hudson River and Black River watershed, including the Sacandaga, Indian, Black, Moose, and Beaver rivers, for the purpose of regulating the flow of streams or rivers when required by public welfare, including public health and safety. Regulating reservoirs operated by the regulating district include Great Sacandaga Lake, Indian Lake, Stillwater Reservoir, Sixth Lake, and Old Forge. Benefits derived through the successful completion of the mission include, but may not be limited to, flood protection to the public, corporations, counties, and parcels of real estate, power plants, downstream of said impoundments, low flow augmentation, to provide sufficient water flow enabling downstream wastewater treatment plants to avoid increased treatment costs associated with waste discharge to lower volume rivers, and enabling downstream hydroelectric plants to generate low cost hydroelectric power in the hot summer months when rates are generally highest. After that, we look at the list of performance goals. Turn it back over to Mr. Candido.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Leslie. We are now going to go to Mr. Callahan about, for his resolution to hire temporary seasonal laborers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As the board is aware, each year the regulating district seeks to augment its dedicated and very capable permanent staff with seasonal laborers at both the Sacandaga Field Office and ideally the Black River Field Office, although it is tougher, as I'm sure you can imagine, without too much imagination, to fill those positions at Black River area. But we again seek, as we do this year, each year, approval from the board to hire up to 6 seasonal laborers for the Hudson River area and Black River area at a hourly rate of $18 an hour. And with that, I'll pause for any questions that the board may have.
If there are no questions, entertain a motion to advance to the full board this resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. DeWitt,
I'll second.
Ms. Allen?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Thank you. With that, the governance committee business is completed. Oh,
You may want to approve the September 9th, 2025 Governance Committee meeting minutes.
okay. Sure. It'd be nice if it was on the agenda so I could have seen that, but it's okay. Probably should have
That
done
might be
right.
my fault. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. No apology necessary. So I need a motion to approve. Well, first of all, reviewing the September 9th meeting, does anyone have any additions or corrections or deletions? There being none, I'll accept the motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Mr.
Second.
DeWitt?
I'll
I need a
second.
second.
Allen?
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
May I
abstain?
interrupt?
Sure.
There were no meeting minutes from that meeting because there were no actions that took place.
But we're
That
That's
covered,
fine.
covered either way now, though.
That might be why
Sorry about that, a little late.
we have no revisions. Yeah.
Thank you, Megan. That being the case, we approved it in case there were. So, but thank you. So that being accomplished, we now will go into adjournment. Mr. Chairman, gavel's yours again.
Thank you. Now go to Finance Committee meeting. Mr. DeWitt.
I'd like to call the March 10th Finance Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Leslie.
Well, I will endeavor to do better than I did in the last committee meeting. Committee Chair Kenneth DeWitt,
Here?
committee members Albert Hayes. Here. And Timothy Reagan.
Here.
Board member Alfred Candido.
Here.
Mr. Byrd is absent. Board member Nicole Allen.
Here.
Executive Director John Callahan.
Here.
General Counsel Robert Leslie here. Chief Fiscal Officer Timothy Manicha.
Here.
Chief Engineer Robert Fultan. Here. Director of Administrative Services Stephanie Rizicki. Everybody's
I
counted.
am also here.
And the board chair, Mark Finkel. Oh, for God's sakes. I apologize to everybody.
Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the revised meeting agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Reagan. I will
Second,
second that. Mr. Hayes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Committee business, new business, motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of a resolution approving budget and financial plan required pursuant to section 2801 of the Public Authority Law. Mr. Minutia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You can all find the projected multi-year financial plan on pages 48 and 49 of your packet with a memo and resolution immediately preceding it. You may recall from prior years that this multi-year financial plan, including its format, is required, as the chair said, by law of New York State public authorities. So as we look at the plan itself, let's just start by going across the top. Last year, actual 2025 represents financial data taken from the regulating district's audited financial statements. The individual revenue and expenditure items differ somewhat from the items the regulating district uses, but the bottom line, for excess or deficiency of revenues and capital contributions over expenditures, matches that which is found in the regulating district's audited financial statements. Those financial statements are available for your review, as well as the public's review on the regulating district's website. Current year estimated 2026 represents the year-to-date results for the first 8 months of the current fiscal year and our best projections for revenue to be received and expenditures to be made through the end of the regulating district's fiscal year, which is June 30th. Next year proposed 2027 represents the final fiscal year that makes up the regulating district's current 3-year budget cycle. And so all those amounts were approved the last time the board took up annual budgets in June of 2024. Proposed 28, 2029, and 2030 are arrived at by applying inflationary increases to the figures from prior years and making other adjustments based on current expectations for specific revenue and expenditure items. Please take note that the excess or deficiency of revenue and capital contributions over expenditures at the bottom of page 49 are projected to remain in balance for the current 3-year budget cycle and are anticipated to be balanced for the upcoming 3-year budget cycle. And with that, it's probably a good time for me to stop and offer to answer any questions you may have about this projected financial plan.
Jim, are we planning on not having anything resolved with the hydro?
There is no expectation for a resolution built into this financial plan.
Is that realistic that that's still going to go that long?
It is possible, yes, that it'll go that long. The attorney for the assistant attorney general for the attorney general's office is considering a tolling agreement, which would toll by 3 years the statute of limitations by which we would need to commence the suit. And if the attorney general does that, it will definitely take at least 3 years to resolve this.
Well, Rob and I are scheduled to talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
Can I also say that even if we felt that there was a resolution likely in this time horizon, I don't believe we would have a basis for estimating what that amount could accrue to the regulating district. So given the uncertainty, I would not want to build it in to this particular plan at this point in time. Obviously, we won't be in another budget cycle with the board until June of 2027. And, we would obviously reevaluate based on things that have changed between now and then before we address that question again.
Yeah, no, I understand the uncertainty part, Tim, and why you're not building it in.
Yep.
I'm thinking more on a timeline standpoint
Mhm.
of letting this drag for that length of time. And with really no indication or any idea of whether we'll be paid interest, whether there'll be any back. I mean, the longer this goes, the more likely the district's going to lose out more money, in my opinion, the far longer that this goes on. So that's why I was asking that, just trying to understand that going through. The other thing on one page report, he had some contingency money built in on projects. That was on page 44 of going through for capital projects. And I'm just questioning on any of that. Are those contingencies in line with what we've been experiencing on capital projects?
So on page 44, you're in the minutes of the prior meeting,
Yeah.
and these were the reappropriations that we asked the board to approve last July.
Yeah.
We do incorporate what we think are prudent contingency percentages for all of the capital
Was
projects
that
that we're
based,
working on.
I saw it this time. I must have missed it last time or something. Was that based on just what our experiences have been, or, I mean, prudence 10%, 20%, and you know, that's typically in the industry, that's a prudent number for that.
Mhm.
We've been going higher than that on a number of the projects. So I just was curious if we've used what our experience has actually been in this current environment.
Yeah, for all of the projects that we are undertaking and are proposing to undertake, we have built in substantial contingency in line with at least the lower end of the range that you just described.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, can I have a motion to advance to the full board?
My turn. I make that motion. Fine.
Mr. Reagan? I will
Second.
second that. Mr. Hayes?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
We also need to address the finance committee meeting minutes from July 8th.
Oh, okay. Can I have approval of the July 8th, 2025 Financial Committee meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion. Mr. Hayes?
I'll second it.
Mr. Reagan? Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Well, you know, I figured since Al missed one, so I had to miss one too. So
Good rescue.
can I have a motion to adjourn the March 10th Financial Committee meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Mr. Reagan, Mr. Hayes?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved.
Okay, we move on to the regular board meeting. I'm almost afraid to do it.
No pressure.
So I'm going to call to order the March board meeting of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District. Roll call, Mr. Leslie.
Board Chair Mark Finkel.
Here.
Got one. First Vice Chair Kenneth DeWitt.
Here.
Second Vice Chair Alfred Candido.
No, I believe that's Nicole now,
Yeah.
but I am here.
In a lot of different ways with that.
Board Member Albert Hayes. Here. Timothy Reagan.
Here.
And Nicole Allen.
Here.
Richard Byrd is still absent. Executive Director John Callahan.
Here.
General Counsel Robert Leslie here. Chief Engineer Robert Fulton. Chief Fiscal Officer Timothy Minicha.
Here.
And the Director of Administrative Services Stephanie Ruzicki. Here. Did I miss anybody this time? No. Excellent.
Need a motion to adapt the meeting agenda.
So moved. Mr. Hayes,
Second,
I'll second.
Miss Allen.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any, public comment period? Do they want to address us now?
I think we'll have the leaves in the, after the approval of the minutes, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure anybody else. has signed.
Anybody else want to address the board? Either The online people or people here?
Megan, anybody signed up on your end?
I haven't received any notifications, so no.
Okay, so next we have the approval of the regular board meeting minutes. Need a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. DeWitt, Mr. Reagan?
Any additions or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Next, we do have the lead access permit appeal. Mr. Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In a moment, I'll invite Fred and Darlene Lee up, who have joined us here today. They are longtime permit holders of permit area 13260 in Edinburgh, just north of the bridge. And for much of that time, we had also enjoyed some access over and use of an adjoining permit that the permittee did not use with any frequency. This is permit 14643. Subsequently, that eligible private property was sold. A new owner applied for an access permit in the area, these 10-foot permit areas, and that permit was issued appropriately by regulating district staff. However, this presented a change in use of their existing permit area for the lease. They initiated an appeal based on the process that we had issued, permit 14643. That advanced through the chief engineer and my level. We met with the lease recently, and as reflected in the packet, we believe that they have a reasonable solution since the adjoining private property, which is associated with the adjacent permit area, has been sold again. Therefore, it is currently unissued. Since both the chief engineer and I thought it prudent to make another 10-foot permit area in this area available, it stands to reason that the permit area that they would like to permit makes sense for them to do so. However, staff cannot facilitate that at an administrative level because it would be contrary to board policy as 10.0301. And so we've been invited with our support and recommendation, the lease here to address the board today, talk a little bit about their issue, and if the board would consider this resolution of the matter, it is one that would have the staff support. So with that, I'd ask Fred and Darlene to come up and be able to address the board. I'm going to step out a little bit here. So if you can stand over here, Mr. and Mrs. Lee, the camera will pick you up as well. Right back a little more this way, that way. Yes.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
This is interesting. I'm usually sitting over there and having people come to the field on various sports that I've been on. So, last spring we went down to our piece of heaven on the Saginaw Lake, and we discovered that the property that we were told that we could use, the permit area that we were told that we could use, had been sold to someone else. And we had spent years working on it, cleaning it up, taking care of the seasonal debris that fell on and so forth. And the motivation was the fact that we had this little tiny oak tree when we first moved here that grew and grew and grew. And finally, with a neighbor who had difficulty in keeping on the 10-foot right away on the one side, the tree in the middle, there really wasn't much for us to do as far as being able to put in a deck or any usable area. So we came over here to the office quite a few years ago and said, what do we do about this? And there's a seasonal camp across the way from us that our deed has right of way to use the well, and we care for that property. The owner is not well and later on passed away. And we care for that. The solution would be, why don't we just use that? So we were given a sign, we put the sign on there. And I took a look at it and it started to look like a forest of signs. So we just took one away and left one sign there with our name on it. And the tree on the right-hand side. And then we went down in the spring only to find out that the property had been sold. And the permit had been exchanged. And one thing I want to say right at the outset here is that we've had nothing but great cooperation from everybody on the staff. That we've been able to work from each of the different appeal levels, and we really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to the board from a personal level. On the other side of the coin, I'm also the chair of zoning in the town of Edinburgh. So I'm also aware of the importance of the issuance of each of these permits on the influence of what goes on in the park as relative to development. The word water, period, has an explosive effect on land sales. And it's pretty well accepted around this area that any of the areas immediately adjoining the water have certain uses that go on there from time to time. But from a town's perspective, we're always struggling with the fact that people buy property and then want to do more with it than the Adirondack Park would allow it. So we're caught between those two devils, so to speak, wanting to allow people to develop their land, and by the same token, keeping this forever wild. So we're constantly in that struggle. So I enjoy the opportunity to come here and talk to the group. Our solution was, now that the property has sold again, the development company who took it over, it sold again, is let us take over that one. Let's address the tree almost like you would a culvert. There's unusable land, let that be forever wild, so to speak. And then we'll take the permit area we've been caring for, and that will resolve the situation. Let the new owners have one of several permit areas that are available in the area for them so that they're not excluded. And so then we'll be basically returned back to where we're at. So that's why we're really excited to have the opportunity to come here. My personal development experience, we no more than unloaded our cars moving here from Connecticut, became directly involved with acquiring some property that belonged to a family member in the city of Schenectady, and then got involved in decades of volunteer work down there in the city. I was on a city planning commission. Both of us served on a civilian police review board. The Department of Justice had a program down there, and Darlene was the site coordinator for the Department of Justice, was asked to write a grant for some of the work that was done in the city down there. So I have an idea of what it takes to make development happen. So therefore, if you do the opposite, it won't happen. So the Mohawk Harbor project down there was something that I personally worked on. And we were told that nothing could go on there. And we managed to work and get that. You can see that there's been massive changes down there in that area. So that's pretty much what I wanted to have to say to you. We'd love the opportunity to just basically stay where we're at. We still have the sign sitting behind, the extra sign sitting behind the house for the permit area. And we'd just like to stay in that condition. So with that, we'd like to give the board approval. And if you've got any questions of me, feel free. Because when I'm sitting either in the city of Schenectady on the planning commission or now in the zoning board in Edinburgh, I see people coming before us wanting to move the line a foot one way or the other, and we make them go through a whole bunch of things to do to make that all happen. Feel free to shoot out on me.
Thank you. Any questions?
When the people that bought the camp that was sold and then another group bought it,
Yeah.
what were they thinking they bought? Not bought, but as far as what did they think they were going to be permitted?
Well, the camp stayed the same. What happened was we were unaware of the fact that the young lady who inherited it from her father
Yeah.
did not pay for her permit. So the permit was set free. The camp is still there and still owned by the same owners. We actually went down and paid their taxes because we discovered they didn't pay the taxes on that adjoining to us.
But did those people think that just bought the camp?
Are you talking about the
So-
camp that's across from us, or are you talking
I'm talking
about
the one where the
property?
permit is. I'm talking where the permit is.
The permit is
Where the
now.
permit is. Where the permit is right now, there's a piece of land that was supposedly go into
Yes.
that.
This was the
What-
LLC.
Yes.
Yeah,
What,
and
The
that,
LLC.
and that permit, Mr. Reagan, at the time, was not issued to any party. They simply became eligible. There were 2 permit areas in that stretch eligible for a waiting list applicant. So they were, there was no expectation that they would get any particular permit area. They simply selected that one. And
they bought the camp without knowing they'll have a permit on it?
they did not buy the camp. The previous eligible property, the permit was allowed to lapse, so that permit area became available. The LLC bought another eligible, in other words, within 1 mile, piece of property, and then applied for a 10-foot permit area in that area. Counselor, anything you'd add to that?
Not really. I mean, there's 2 pieces of property,
Yeah.
each of which have an access permit associated with them. The Lee's on one with the oak tree, the Johnsons on the adjoining, and then there's another piece of property over here that is, 200 acres
Yes.
off, back lot. Staff issued the Johnson's permit to these people because the Johnsons didn't renew their permit long ago. And what we're going to do today, we hope the board will do, is take the Lee's permit and put it on the Johnson's permit area. Take the permit associated with the 200 acre parcel, and we're gonna move it over to another available permit a couple of spots down. These guys
If the new
haven't
owner
applied
applies.
for,
Yes.
the guy who bought the 200 acre parcel didn't apply for a new permit and has now sold that 200 acre parcel. The new owner of that 200 acre parcel, if they do apply for a permit, would then get a permit a couple of spots down. The Lees would be now on the Johnson's permit. The Johnsons aren't asking for a permit, and there are other spots available if the Johnsons were to ask for a permit. All we're doing is now having the oak tree spot be one of those available permits that staff probably will never issue if they can.
So would it be fair to say, Counselor, nobody gets injured, in other words, in this scenario?
Right.
Right.
But all of that,
You don't impact the property that the Johnsons own by doing that.
assuming that nobody else sweeps in and takes any of the available permits, there will still be a spot that the Johnsons' successor in interest could apply for somewhere down the road. Can't guarantee it.
Would you not save them one? I'm just trying to understand it.
The one that is definitely saved is the one with the oak tree. But there are others. And
And
the
I would-
expectation would be that it would be one of the others.
I would add that the Johnson property was carved from the property that we have and that we own. We own 43 acres.
Right.
And when a previous owner passed away of our property, he gave 4 acres to his grandson. And that family doesn't appear to have any interest, although, we know them, we talk to them, and we're all like one big family. So, as Fred said, we pay the taxes on that property, we mow it, we nurture it. Our well is on that lot across the way, so and it says so in the deed, so we're intertwined. If the property were to go on the market, chances are fairly good that we would buy it, because, we're invested. So that's our feeling on it.
Any other questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Very good. And we will take this up under,
No, why don't we do this right now?
oh, okay, I'm in favor of that.
Yes, unless it requires, in your view, Chairman, more deliberation.
No,
Certainly, we're presenting this with staff support.
okay. I have a potential resolution here. In response to the appeal before the board by Fred and Darlene Lee I move that provided permit area 14643 is available due to a non-renewal or transfer of ownership without application for a new permit as of the close of business March 15th, 2026. The executive director be authorized to facilitate the administrative assignment of permit area 14643 to the current holders of permit area 13620, Fred and Darlene Lee, and that fees established by the board associated with issuance of a new permit be waived for the purposes of such administrative assignment of permit area 14643. And please don't ask me to repeat that.
Did you say that again?
Yeah. We have that motion? Oh, I just made the motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Franco, Ms. Allen.
Any further discussion on that? And then I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your patience.
Next, we have the report of Mr. Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In recognition of our robust agenda today, I will simply pause to ask if board members have had an opportunity to review the report, whether they have any questions for me.
I don't.
No question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
With that, we'll move on to contracts. The first one, a resolution authorizing the purchase of OTT Hydromet Cloud Services. Why? Web-based elevation data housing for Indian Lake, Old Forge, and Six Lakes Reservoir. Mr. Foley.
Mr. Chairman, I have a memorandum on page 57. I'll just try to give you an overview of that rather than read it verbatim, but for many years at Indian Lake, Old Forge, and Six Lake, we've used USGS, the United States Geological Survey, to collect reservoir elevation data and then publish it, make it available on the website to be viewed by the public. August of last year, USGS notified the district that it would be modifying, changing the method it would use to collect that information. Previously, it had been by telephone and or internet, and they're transitioning to satellite telemetry retrieval, which would have required the district to invest $50,000 in equipment and continue at least the same annual cost for hosting, data collection and hosting of the reservoir elevation information from those three sites. The equipment that we actually use to collect the data is manufactured by a company that actually provides website hosting. And see in their proposal that was attached to my memorandum at a significantly reduced cost. So the staff recommends purchasing OTT Hydromet Cloud web-based data hosting services to provide data download, processing, storage, and website hosting for data viewing and presentation, and seeks board authorization to purchase these services from OTT Hydromet as detailed in its proposal dated January 16th, 2026. Staff also requests authorization for the executive director to execute the purchase order for these services for a not to exceed price of $9,302. Happy to answer any questions.
Rob, what's the cost savings? What's the difference between that and what we're?
Yeah, that's the annual cost. You can see in one of the attached.
$41,088.
Yeah.
So it's a huge cost savings.
Yeah, the annual cost just for USGS is, at each site is, or for the combined sites was $16,000 to $18,000 a year.
You have the avoidance of the capital we would have needed to invest.
And plus the capital, yeah. So it's fairly significant and it's meaningful on an annual basis too, in terms of the annual cost that we'll now avoid by using Hydromet rather than USGS.
Where we were still utilizing them in other places.
We still use USGS, yes. The other sites already have, Stillwater as an example, already use satellite. They've had satellite at that location for, I think, probably as long as I've been in the district, satellite. So, not affected there or at Conklin.
Okay.
Is it
I
through
need
the
a
same,
motion.
is it through the same supplier?
Well, our equipment at,
Stillwater.
Old Fort, or excuse me, at Stillwater and Great Sacandaga Lake are USGS based equipment. It's, we pay for, the gauge that's at the Conklinville Dam, and that is, already a satellite transmitted, data set. And we pay for the equipment that is used to collect data at Stillwater, and that's also.
So it's the same supplier, so there's no advantage to go to
No,
one
we would have-
supplier.
At this point, no, because there's no investment or capital cost associated like there would have been with Old Fort Six Lake, which was all
Yeah.
internet and cable, copper cable communications.
But I just wondered if
so
there was
there's
any
no-
cost advantage of being one supplier, and you're saying there's.
No, overall, no, there wouldn't be.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like a motion authorizing the purchase of the OTT Hydromet Cloud Services.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Reagan,
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. DeWitt,
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we need a resolution to approve amendment number 9, Indian Lake First Engineering Assessment Contract C 032013. Both hand again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My memorandum is on page 66. Last May, the board modified the scope of work for the contract C03-2013 to include additional engineering services for the construction, support, and inspection services related to the unanticipated gatehouse foundation construction repair at Indian Lake. The additional engineering services were necessary to support those construction activities related to the gatehouse foundation. Although construction repair and foundation continues to progress effectively and rapidly as possible and as safely as possible when completing underwater concrete construction work, the completion date of the gatehouse foundation repairs now is anticipated to be completed by the end of September of this year. Collier's scope of and fee that was proposed in April 29, 2025, which the board approved on May 13th, 2025, had anticipated work being completed by the end of December of 2025. To provide the necessary engineering and construction review of the dam rehabilitation project. Contract C03-2013 should be amended to include continued construction engineering support services through the end of the anticipated completion of construction in September of 2026. Attached to my memorandum is Collier's scope of services proposal dated February 26, 2026. And staff recommends modifying the scope of work for contract C03-2013 to include the additional engineering and construction support and inspection services, and seeks board authorization to amend contract C03-2013 to include the scope of work and fee outlined in Collier's proposal. Staff also requests authorization for the executive director to execute an amendment to increase the contract value by $422,000 and increase the phase 2 not to exceed contract value to $3,410,378. I'm certainly available to answer any additional questions. Also, our project engineer Greg Johnson is also here and can certainly answer any additional questions that you might have related to the need for the additional engineering services to take us through the end of the construction project.
Was there any change in scope from the time that we authorized the additional money that would justify the additional 422,000?
No, I think it's primarily, Greg, I'm certainly defer to you if there's
The actual
anything,
bulk
but
of the
it's
cost,
just the gatehouse continued repair.
gatehouse repair. The time of construction moves on, our inspector has to be there during that time. That's the bulk of that cost.
Right.
Then there's the back and forth engineering that comes up during that time for request for information, additional submittal reviews, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's mainly the period of performance.
Being driven by the fact that it's taking longer than what the contractor had originally anticipated back middle of last year when we amended the contract to include the construction and the repair of the foundation work itself.
Yeah, I see.
It's just taking longer than we had anticipated. And because of that, and because we need to have our engineering services in the field during that period of time, we're looking to add the additional scope and extend the period of time that Colliers will be on site and support the project construction activities from the office to match the duration of the project rather than leave us hanging without any engineering support throughout the rest of the construction project.
But perhaps specific to your question, Mr. Reagan, the one thing that has changed since the board authorized that last amendment for Colliers is then based on the design for the gatehouse foundation work presented by Colliers, we got a proposal from our contractor to construct the work. We went out, procured the additional resources, covered that work from New York State. So, and then obviously the additional on-site engineering work is directly tied, as Greg and Rob have said, to the length of time required once we provided the authorization for the contractor to proceed with the work to actually accomplish that additional work.
So did the time that was required to do the additional work, did that increase from what was originally budgeted? I mean, the actual time people were working there, did that increase?
Yes, the inspector has to be out there, so yes, so.
So the number of days you had
Yes.
workers there
Yeah.
increased.
Yes, that is.
So there must have been something then that was missed in the original bid. If the number of days increased, something had to change.
So we based our original on the contractor's schedule. The
Yeah.
contractor knows how long it's gonna take to build something.
Yeah.
His schedule changed. That schedule changed. It's out of my control and how much the contractor takes to build something. That is the additional time.
And just a reminder, Mr. Reagan, the gatehouse foundation work was not in the original bid.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Any other questions? Tad, I need a motion, a resolution to approve amendment number 9, Indian Lake First Engineering Assessment Contract. We have a motion? I'll make that motion. Second,
Mr. Hayes?
any further discussion, question?
Who seconded it?
I'll second.
Ms. Allen?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we need a resolution authorizing the installation of a fire alarm system at the Sacandaga Field Office Facility. Something I could read.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Beginning on page 72 of the board packet, you'll find the resolution and supporting proposal regarding the installation of a new fire alarm system at the Sacandaga Field Office, maintenance garage, and boathouse. The former system was destroyed by lightning and cannot be repaired due to age and outdated technology, leaving us without critical protection. This resolution requests approval to purchase and install a modern system from DC Dynamics, a certified MWBE vendor for up to $16,750 plus $525 annual monitoring. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Will this provide a reduction in insurance?
I don't,
Can't say for certain. We'll certainly report and strongly request that that be taken into consideration.
Thank you.
Well,
Any
does this
questions?
replace, I'm sorry, does this replace an existing system?
yes, well, not replace, we're gonna use the wiring of our existing system that doesn't work, and then we'll repair and update what's needed to get up and running again. Right now, we have nothing.
Okay, currently there's nothing? Oh,
Correct.
thank you.
Any further questions, comments? Not, I need a resolution authorizing the installation of a fire alarm system at the Sacandaga Field office for price not to exceed, I'll say 16,000. Did I say 15,000?
16,750.
Well, I gave you a little leeway.
18,750.
And make that motion. We have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Hayes, Mr. Reagan,
Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Staff and committee reports. First, the governance committee report, Mr. Candido.
Governance, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The governance committee has advanced to the board several resolutions. The first for adoption. The first is a resolution to satisfy the annual review and approval of the investment policy.
Okay, in the form of a resolution.
I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion that
Mr.
the
Candido.
board, the full board adopts a resolution to satisfy the annual review and approval of the investment policy.
Second,
I'll second.
Ms. Allen,
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next,
Second, I make a motion to adopt the resolution to satisfy the annual review and approval of the procurement policy.
second,
I make that motion.
Mr. Hayes, second.
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next,
Next, I make a motion to adopt the resolution that satisfies the annual review and approval of the property guidelines policy.
second,
Second that.
Mr. Hayes,
further discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Next,
Next, we received the annual review of the authority of the mission statement and performance measures by Mr. Leslie. But we did not pass a motion. I didn't see where we needed to do that. We accepted that.
okay,
So do we need a motion on that? I'll make it.
typically, we do have the board adopt or move to approve the annual review of the mission statement and performance measurements.
that's easy enough to do.
I will make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Candido,
We have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. DeWitt,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And one more.
And finally, I make a motion to pass a resolution that hires a temporary seasonal laborers to supplement permanent staff needed in the Hudson River and Black River areas.
We have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Mr. Reagan.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, Finance Committee report, Mr. DeWitt.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution approving budget and financial plan required pursuant to section 2801 of the Public Authority Laws.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Reagan,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Move on to our staff reports. General Counsel, Mr. Lester.
my report is on page 77. There is nothing too exciting in it. I would offer the board the time if there's anybody with a question and they'll would answer.
I have none. Any questions for Mr. Leslie? Comments? Okay. Director of Administrative Services, Mr. Ziggy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the interest of time, I will follow the executive director's lead and just point out that my report is located on page 78 and highlights my activities during the reporting period. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them.
Any questions or comments?
No pressure, Tim.
Okay, we move to Chief Fiscal Officer. Monique?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On this rare occasion, I shall not follow the lead of the executive director, the general counsel, or the director of administrative services. You can find the CFO report on page 81 of your packet. While I have done a fair amount of talking today, I would just like to draw your attention to one element from the fiscal summary that I shared as part of the board packet, and that is the growth in the total funds received in offsetting credits for the EV charging stations. We have received 2 credits totaling $28,244, which reduces the cost of the charging stations by 47% to $31,000, almost $32,000. And if that's not enough, just this morning, I'm happy to report that we are now in possession of a check from the Internal Revenue Service in the amount of $20,000, nearly $400, representing our receipt of clean energy tax credits that were a part of the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 to offset a portion of the cost of the installation of the rooftop solar panels at the Sacandaga field office. When combined, totaling nearly $49,000 in credits, that reduces the cost of the overall project by nearly 36%. And with that,
Is there anybody using it?
is there anybody using it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Car parked out there right now.
I know Matt,
Is it somebody parked
Matt
against
Kinter
their other
always
spot?
listens in and monitors the use carefully. I think it's fair to say, we have seen an increase in use from almost none to almost some. And continue to get the word out, and
How would you
Stephanie, I
measure
think-
those? How would you measure some and none?
Stephanie, I think, I'm gonna deflect, is gonna tell you about yet another place where people can find.
Yes, OGS reached out to us and asked if we would like to be on the statewide map so that agencies that are traveling will know where there is a staff available spot to park.
That's wonderful.
I don't remember when we originally had this discussion, but is there any place else for us to use this solar inside of here?
Any place else within the regulated.
Yes, right in within this
district's
area
jurisdiction,
with
At
us.
different sites.
No, here.
Here.
Is there anything we can convert heat to solar to reduce anything that we can get any more value out of the solar that we're generating?
I think, we're gonna carefully research that question, Mr. Reagan, so that we don't give you, half an answer. But I think we're taking full financial advantage, because with the net metering approach, whatever we generate, our bill is reduced.
It gets reduced before it goes back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I don't want to miss the opportunity in the context of that question to note that Matt Kinter and his staff here at the Sacandaga field office generally have been undertaking a number of improvements in the building, including new doors that you see, and much better energy efficiency overall in the complex, and we continue to do that. We last year, I believe last year, if not the year before, converted the lights in the garage to LED. And if you come to a board meeting in this very building next March, I think you'll see LED lights in here as well, and continue to see opportunities to make further energy efficiency enhancements here and throughout our facilities.
I didn't know if there was anything with heating, because I don't think you have natural gas here, do you? So,
Propane.
propane, okay.
And we also have electric heat that we do not use anymore as a primary, but when the propane tank runs out, it's good to have a backup. If you're on propane in this part of the world, you'll know that you've probably not been immune to delivery issues. But, close calls are one thing, but turning on the electric heat is something else. Does that answer your question, Mr. Reagan?
Good enough.
Mr. Chair.
Any, go ahead.
Having not answered directly any questions about any aspect of the regulating district's finances as part of the CFO report, let me also finally call your attention to the signed affidavit. You can find on page 122 of your packet. It lists necessary and reasonable expenses incurred by board members relating to their participation in prior board meetings. Article 3, Section 2 of the regulating district's bylaws require the board to approve payment before any reimbursement can be made.
I'm sorry, what page is that?
Page 122. 122.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve board expenses.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Allen, Mr. DeWitt.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chief Engineer, Mr. Coltan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report begins on page 123. Generally, at the time of writing, both areas were experiencing below averages precipitation compared to historic average. However, snowpack and water content was above average throughout both watersheds. And since the writing, we're obviously all aware, we've begun to receive some liquid precip and seen some snow melt and runoff, and reservoirs are starting to refill. And positioned well to receive what we expect to see in terms of both liquid precip from the upcoming storms and snow melt. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Any other board member questions or comments on anything? I need a resolution for our next board meeting, which will be May 12th here at SFO tentatively. So move. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And lastly, a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
For me,
That was.
Stand adjourned.
Okay.
I was putting that May 12th down, so I wouldn't.